Find something that you are passionate about and shoot your way through this obsession with elegance, and you will have a potentially great project. That is a quote from Martin Parr that recently inspired me to start my first photography project. Finding inspiration is one of the hardest and biggest challenges in photography. Even as an experienced photographer, I still have moments where I feel completely unmotivated just to go out and shoot, especially in familiar or boring locations. But recently, while back home in New Zealand, I spent a night at PR Beach, a place that I know very well, and I decided to photograph Lion Rock from multiple different angles, compositions, focal lengths, and lighting conditions. After this, I realized that a photography project doesn't have to be complicated. The goal isn't necessary to create a book and get published, but just to have fun and push your creativity. If you're unsure where to start, focusing on a single subject is a great exercise. Many photographers choose iconic landmarks like the Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Fuji, or like my recent trip to Japan, I decided to photograph vending machines. Some take a different approach, like this photographer who spent 5 years photographing a ping pong table from his apartment window, which later became a published book and then won an award in 2018. Or you can explore a broader theme like this American Voyage by Mario, who documented America in the 1960s during his road trips. Or one of my personal favorites, which is Poolsides by Aaron Sims, who captured luxury swimming pools around the world. So in today's video, I want to share how starting a photography project changed the way I approach lighting and composition, and how printing my work helped me critique and refine my edits. More importantly, I hope this inspires you to go out and start your own photography project and gives you an idea or an insight on what to expect when you commit to one. And with that said, let's jump right into it. So why did I decide to shoot this random rock behind me? This rock behind me, called Lion Rock, is actually a massive symbol of this beach. It's basically a poster child for a lot of the different tourism advertisement and marketing campaigns that has been run overseas. And then lastly, I've had a lot of great surfing experiences surfing this beach. I think I've been coming here for the last 20 years, and I just found that this would be very comfortable for my first photography project, as I know the area really well. I know all of the different beach accesses, I know all the different roads, and I'm basically just going around without a map, and I already have some of the compositions in my brain. So yeah, I just thought that for my first photography project, I just wanted to select an area that I was familiar with, and then I was also just comfortable shooting. So I am actually really happy with the results so far, and we still have about 2 hours of light left, and let's go shoot some more and see what else we can capture. Another thing that I want to talk about and why it's so important to photograph a single subject is to practice composition. So during this little personal photography project, photographing Lion Rock behind me, I've been trying various different compositions and focal lengths. I've been shooting on the Nikon Z6 Mark III with the Nikon 24-70, and I really do like that lens as I can really dial in my focal length even though it is a zoom lens. I've been treating it like a prime lens. So I've really been experimenting with 28mm, 35mm, 43mm, which is what our eye sees, and 50mm with the odd 70mm and 24mm shot. I just think that learning how a focal length impacts your image, and also just judging the composition with your eye before even selecting a focal length, is such an imperial skill to learn. And it still amazes me how far back you are for a 50mm shot to fill the frame compared to filling the frame on a 24mm shot, and how close you are to your subject. And lastly, for composition, I have really been trying to include or subtract supporting elements or supporting subjects. This may be things like including the boardwalk in the shot and then removing it. So I think that moving around and just forcing myself to be creative has been a very fun and challenging experience for today, and I really do think that I have somewhat improved my compositions today. So we've got about an hour and 15 minutes until sunset, so now we're going to get the best lighting conditions. So I'm really going to just stop filming and just focus on the images. So let's go capture the sunset. There's actually a few construction workers up there that are hiking up Lion Rock. Just waiting for them to reach the top to see if I can get a shot. So obviously, because of the outfit change, it is the next morning, and I decided to wake up a little bit early, not too early, just to take some photos and just finish off some compositions that I really wanted to try with different lighting conditions. Having this little photography project of just shooting a single subject has really improved my lighting skills in terms of photography, as I've really just been doing trial and error and just seeing what works and what doesn't work. My preference, of course, as you guys might know from viewing the channel for a while, I do love side light. That is definitely my preference, but yesterday I did experiment with some silhouette shots, and then also this morning I did experiment with some front lit shots. And I think this is really important as a photographer. And once I figured out lighting and I really got an understanding on how to work with different light, especially with my wedding photography work where I really can't control lighting. And if you are a natural light photographer, then you've got no real control over the light. So learning how to adapt to those different lighting conditions and learning to use different focal lengths and try different compositions with different lighting conditions really just gives you an experimentation that you can kind of figure out what you like and what you don't like. And finally, in terms of lighting, I don't think that a project like this is something that you just turn up one day and just do once. It's definitely preferable to pick a subject that's close to your home so you can actually shoot in different lighting conditions and also shoot in different seasons. And yeah, I've pretty much finished shooting. The light's very harsh right now, as you can see. All right guys, I have done something that I typically don't do, but I highly recommend it, and that's printing your work. I use the Canon selfie printer, and after installing and buying a printing profile and printing from Lightroom, the prints are definitely not perfect, but surprisingly accurate to what I see on my color calibrated monitor. Now, seeing all these prints laid down on a table has helped me spot adjustments. My blues lean too far towards teal, so I shifted them towards magenta. The orange grass on the dunes wasn't as saturated as I expected, likely because the black sand actually absorbs a lot of light, reducing the vibrance. So I boosted the yellow and orange saturation, I lowered the luminosity slightly, and I added some vibrance to bring out the depth in those underlying colors. Also guys, if you do like the way how I edit my photos, I do sell Lightroom presets, which are linked in the description down below. I use these as a starting point and don't often have to tweak them, and I've had success on all of the major camera brands' raw files. So I did print all these photos to lay them out on a big table to select and curate my favorites, and I've narrowed it down to these 3. Now, my favorite photo isn't your typical postcard shot, it's more of a realistic shot. I really love this cloud that's above Lion Rock, which adds interest to the top third of the image. The bins on the beach and the boardwalk protecting the dune all contribute to the story of the location, that being a tidy kiwi. It's also side-lit, creating a lot of depth with the shadow and highlight contrast. Plus it's got that classic color fairy of teal and orange being complementary colors. So printing these images has given me a new perspective on my work. If you haven't printed your photos, I highly recommend this little Canon printer selfie. Is a great place to start, and there is a link in the description down below, plus all of the photography gear that I use. And if you guys want to learn how to get the best colors out of your camera, no matter the brand, go check out this video right here, and I hope this video here did inspire you guys. If you felt inspired and you liked the video, you guys know what to do, and grab your camera and go shoot, and enjoy the rest of your week.